This next news story comes to us from Samuel Tolbert over at Windows Central. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle Reviews and Metacritic Roundup. Here's what critics think of this Xbox and Machine Games adventure. The reviews are piling in for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, the latest game from the teams across Swedish developer Machine Games and the publishing office at Bethesda Softworks, all under the greater Xbox umbrella. Overall, people seem to like it. At the time I'm writing this, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle has they say an 86, but I'll look it up for you live so you know exactly. It's at an 87, across 56 reviews, which marks a high degree of praise across a decent number of outlets. There's a fair number of 10s mixed in with dozens of 9s and 8s, though, as always, there's a few outliers. I've highlighted a few of the outlets and their reviews below. Games Radar gave it a 10 out of 10. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is utterly enthralling. Small grievances don't detract from what is undoubtedly one of the best, most singular adventures that I've played in recent years. If anything, there's a clear roadmap for improvements and iterations should Machine Games follow through with a deserved sequel. I'm left with the impression that the studio took some big swings here, from the immersive first-person perspective to the complexity of its sandbox spaces, and they all connected. So right off the bat, I'm already kind of struggling with this review because I love how they give it a 10 out of 10, but then they go on to talk about how there's so many things that can be fixed in a sequel. It's like, okay, that sounds like 9 out of 10 territory to me, right?
I mean, it could be an emotional 10.
I guess so. I guess
maybe that's what she's banking on.
Without reading the full review, I'm not really sure what they're going with there, but that just kind of sounds funny to me. Like when they're like 10 out of 10. But there's lots of small things that are kind of annoying, and if they do a sequel, at least they have a clear roadmap of what they can do to fix them. Like, all right, well, maybe it's a 9 out of 10 then, 9.5 out of 10 even. I don't know. Inverse gave it a 9 out of 10. After decades of inspiring countless video game characters across generations, it's great to see Indiana Jones make such a triumphant return to the medium. Machine Games thankfully avoided modernizing the character with Uncharted-inspired action scenes, opting instead to create the ultimate Indiana Jones simulator. And by staying doggedly true to the hallowed source material, the Great Circle creates something wholly unique in today's AAA gaming landscape. Paired with its impeccable direction and presentation, the Great Circle is every bit an authentic entry in the legendary character's greater mythos. It's funny that they picked a lot of reviews from places that I'm not super familiar with. Oh, here's Digital Trends gave it an 8 out of 10. Despite working with a more family-friendly property with less blood and guts, Machine Games, that is funny. Machine Games is kind of known for like the Wolfenstein stuff, and then they go like kind of more straight-laced, cleaned up. Machine Games' latest still has all its teeth in place. A globe-trotting action-adventure romp becomes a slapstick comedy about outsmarting fascism rather than outgunning it. And then I'll read this final one. I'm not familiar with Pure Xbox, but they gave it a 6 out of 10. Well, that's interesting. Ever since we caught wind of Machine Games making Indiana Jones title, we've been very excited about the prospect, but ultimately we're a little disappointed in the final product. The overall experience isn't bad, and it successfully sells the Indiana Jones fantasy, but the gameplay elements here just don't match up with the vibe of a fun-time indie adventure. The pacing is all out of whack, the open stealth-driven levels don't work in the context of an Indiana Jones romp, and the game just feels at odds with itself overall. So really the whole gamut of feelings here, this seems like, which is interesting. Adrian, have you A, played it at all, or B, are you interested in playing it? Because I know at times you have access to Xbox and stuff through friends and stuff like that. So I wasn't sure if you had a chance to like fire it up, watch someone play it, or are you at least interested yourself, or how are you feeling about this?
I guess fire it up it's a little too harsh, you think, right?
What do you mean? I mean, when I say fire it up, I mean like turn it on, play it, right? I'm not saying like, are you interested in playing this thing, or are you
indie? Yeah.
Okay. So have you played it? Have you played it or watched anyone play it, or no? Or are you just holding out since it's like a first player single character?
No, this is one of those games where I'm like, it's an Indiana Jones movie. If you've seen them all, if you've seen one, you've seen them all. And that was one of the big like praises for this was that, it felt like it could be a movie in the mainline franchise. So yeah, and that means if that's the case, all the rest of them in the franchise all do these hallmark things. So I can expect the game to do the same.
Yeah.
Except I have to make Indy do it instead of him just doing it.
Okay. But you are interested in playing it though.
Yeah, I'll check it out when it comes to PlayStation.
That was going to be my next question is this something you're interested in? Like, all right, I got to try it now. Like, I got to find go to my friend's house, play on his Xbox, or are you like, I can wait like until February and play this on my PlayStation or later, wait till it goes on sale.
Wait.
Yeah,
I can definitely wait.
I'm kind of feeling the same way. I don't know why, because honestly, reading a lot of the reviews, good and bad, this all sounds right up my alley for the type of game I generally like, good, fun story, adventure, single player, like all this thing kind of check all the boxes. But I don't know. I think, and we've talked about this in previous episodes, I'm in like a weird spot in my gaming, career is a weird word, but my current like gaming, like where I'm at in gaming in my day to day is very much more like I am looking for generally smaller experiences, or like, whether that means indie or if it is, something bigger than, or something from a more well-known studio, just like something more bite-sized. So, I don't know. Yeah. Like this is one, like I might buy like a year from now if it's on sale, like next Black Friday, if it happens to be.
That's
on
a
sale.
good idea.
Like, and not that I'm against paying $70 for the game, but I also just feel like, I don't know. I guess it's doesn't have me that stoked, if that makes sense. Even though everything about it sounds great, I'm just not like, I gotta go play this. But it'll be interesting to hear. I am interested to hear kind of after, the question we got from Ranger there, like I'm mentioning, like what happens when it outsells on PlayStation? What's the history of kind of Xbox games coming to PlayStation? What that's going to look like? That does have my curiosity. Like, all right, what's it look like once it opens up? Like, is it gonna, Oh, you're muted again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna say, I mean, they just told us right recently. They're like, oh, this is an Xbox. This is an Xbox. This is not an Xbox. This is an Xbox. They're already gearing people up for that. So we know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is one that I'm kind of like, interested in, but I don't know if I'll pick it up anytime soon. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe if I get a hankering for Game Pass, maybe if another game comes out soon, I'm like, okay, I'll get Game Pass and then fire it up on my
I'll get
PC.
a month of it, see how long I stick with it, and if I do, then maybe I'll buy the 3, so on and so forth.
Exactly. But glad it's getting good reviews. That's exciting. This is a first like kind of big win for Xbox in a while, right? Like I can't think of the last game that's gotten even that high of a score, right? Like an 87. Like that's pretty generous. I mean, maybe, I guess I don't remember what Starfield got. What did Starfield end up with? Starfield, Metacritic, because that one in the end might have ended up being around there. But okay, yeah, it got an 83. But
respectable,
which is so interesting because how wild is it that this game, got away with an 83, but like no one's talking about it. Like people just have moved on. Like that's it. That seems wild, so wild to me, Like it just, like that's an 8 out of 10 game essentially, and people are just kind of like they played it, moved on. That's it. I don't know. It just seems this is one of those instances where the high review scores kind of has me. I probably would avoid this one. Like this might be going back to Crimson's question, like seeing a game that got really high reviews and then being like, how come I don't hear anyone talking about this? It just came out last year.
Right.
I feel like I should be hearing more about it. Kind of crazy. But hopefully Indiana Jones is different. Hopefully we're still talking about it. I think having a second life on PlayStation will help it too. Like it'll give it another media cycle and all that, and keep it going. And I don't know. Maybe they'll start putting out more good games. That would be awesome. Thank you so much for watching that clip from our podcast. Remember, if you want to watch the whole episode, the full episode, link will be in the description below. You can click on that and check it out. We got listener questions. We got more news segments. We got what you playing. We got a lot of fun things. So yeah, more than just the news. There's a lot more to the show that you should go check out. So remember, click that link in the description. Check out that full episode.